Once, a close colleague wanted to ask me why am I an atheist. I had no interest in discussing that topic, so wanted to keep it short. This is how it went. Him, why don't you believe in God? Me, first tell me if you believe in God. Him, yes. Me, do you believe God is omnipotent and decides everything? Him, yes. Me, then, God made me an atheist. You are not supposed to question God's will. If you still have any question, please go and ask him. End of conversation. He is still trying to find the God to ask that question. I hope he finds one. Edit. I see a lot of people mentioning the free will as a possible counter-argument. I was not discussing on Christianity, but Hinduism. I had preempted that, hence used a Sanskrit script to avoid that. I asked, do you believe Tina Vinatrinamapi naturality? Without his intention not even a grass can move. He answered yes. So, he lost his opportunity of using his free will. But, chances exists that, whatever logic I use, can be shot down, by using their numerous illogical arguments. Hi, this has been on my mind for a while and I've finally decided to put it into words. And I'd love to share it with someone. I didn't know what other subreddit to post this to, but I feel like this might be a good fit. The phrase everything happens for a reason frankly pisses me off. I understand that it's said with good intentions, but it's such a weird concept and I think the vast majority of people actually saying it probably don't comprehend the exact meaning of the phrase, taken literally. What does the word for mean in this context? In this case, it's used as a preposition and expresses relation between everything happens and a reason. Semantically, the way that the sentence is phrased and presented lends itself to easy misinterpretation, and when combined with some sort of spiritual belief, parroting empty phrases, absent-mindedness, or a combination of all of these, all the more so. In daily conversation all of the above are as common as saying like, not necessarily a bad thing, but I digress. In other words, everything happens for a reason could be rephrased, in accordance with how people usually say it, as everything happens for the benefit of a reason. Note, benefit does not necessarily mean good. There is a link of causation between everything happens and a reason. In the above case, the everything happens is the cause of a reason, not the other way around, as I assume is assumed. Sorry to turn so dark all of a sudden, but what is the reason? What is the end result of the benefit for slavery, the Holocaust, innocents dying, families being destroyed, children being raped every day? I doubt you'll find one, and if you do, fuck you. If instead we replace the preposition for with the conjunction because, the phrase is essentially flipped, everything happens because of a reason. All of a sudden the aforementioned link of causation is shifted. Now the a reason is the cause of everything happens, not the other way around. As I assumed is assumed, and this makes sense, and is not a shit phrase. It can now be rephrased as there is a reason for everything happening / for why everything happens, which is objectively universally correct, and is a fact. I like to believe that this is what people mean when saying the phrase everything happens for a reason, but unfortunately it probably isn't so. For what reason did the Holocaust happen? For the purification of the human race and the extermination of these filthy Jews and friends, said Hitler. Probably. Because of what reason did the Holocaust happen? Because of some delusional cunt. Does everything happen for the benefit of reason? Fuck no. Somebody might just be a shitty person, in which case reason is being shitty and deriving pleasure from that. Maybe it was just a coincidence or an accident, in which case there is no reason for which to be a benefit for. Maybe God has a plan for all of us and that's the reason for the benefit of which he's doing it. Maybe, but then he's kind of a fucking sadistic asshole who doesn't have the balls to deal with whatever it is he is dealing with head on, and instead is magically putting in motion a series of arbitrary and seemingly random horrible deaths and suffering that are supposed to somehow add up to. But, lol. Does everything happen because of some divine reason perhaps instead? Well, funnily enough, God would still be a dick in this case as well, so that's obviously bullshit. However, everything does happen because of some physical, real reason. A person, an animal, nature caused something, usually shitty, to happen. Not God, but that's a boring, and, depending on the context, quite a rude phrase, in case of grievous circumstances. So for a reason leaves it ambiguous, I guess. Is that better? Who cares? People don't think about stuff like that. But I guess everything happens because of a reason just doesn't have the same ring to it. Edit. Grammar and commas. In the last paragraph, changed backquote for to backquote, because become into becoming to becoming for, before being changed to backquote because, furthermore. A lot of interesting responses. Definitely add more to the discussion. Thanks. Stay safe everyone. Edit 2. Some good counter arguments as well. I'm not a philosopher or anything, just a guy who was bored, wanted to practice writing, but also to rant. It's the friggin' internet, especially Reddit, especially r/atheism lol. Language is extremely fluid, and we assign meaning to stuff, and I was kinda nitpicking on this phrase. I agree that I haven't really addressed that. If I were to rewrite this post, I would do so taking everything everyone said into consideration. So my mom got so mad at me over Christmas that she cried and wouldn't speak to me because I don't think it's wrong to be gay. I'm gay. My dad said it was an abomination, and I said it says that in the Old Testament and that Jesus died and replaced that. He said, it's still the word of God. It isn't in red at all. And when I mentioned that it was next to verses about not eating shrimp and shaving your beard, he said they weren't equal. It was like talking to a brick wall. Alright, I'm right now little scared, very little, to talk about this, because issues like this gets people in unwanted trouble. And I'm below 20, dependent, so yeah. Anyways, my religion is a minority religion. It considers itself the world's best religion, which I assume every religion says. All those religious salesmen of my religion considers and teaches us that Muslims are bad. They tell stories in which Muslims look like the world's insane people ever. Example, one senior salesman once told us a real life story in which a person argues with his Muslim friend over some topic. His Muslim friend later invites him over tea at his home. Muslim family kills a friend. Yes. They tell many real life stories like this. I don't know how, but thankfully I didn't turn out like my parents, my brother, my family. I respect all the religions, except mine, but I don't believe in any religion or God. I tried to teach my family that all religions are equal. At the time of teaching they agree. I feel like I changed their mind. Next morning, same shit. So, now I just don't talk with them on any of this anymore. Anyways, I'm really glad to find this subreddit. Feels like I'm not alone. Here feels like family and home. I got pressured to get baptized as a teenager and declined. It was intensely passive aggressive, and I was never permitted to ask why it happened or why it stopped. What happened with you? I was raised in a Baptist church from age 6 until college, when I was finally free to stop attending. In my teens, there was a short but intense campaign to get me baptized. Basically, my father, having heard some other member of the youth group was soon to be baptized, forced my brother and I to attend his pre-baptismal talk, in which the youth group leader would supposedly explain why it would be good to get baptized. I got nothing out of that talk that would make me want to get baptized, and can't remember a word of it, so I declined. My brother, however, decided that he would get baptized. I have no idea why. Discussing why we believed what we believed was taboo in the church. If you gave the wrong answer, the implication was you would be shunned and made homeless as punishment, so the topic was always avoided. This was a very passive-aggressive culture, so I don't know how it came to be that my younger sister was swept up into getting baptized along with my brother. If I had asked, it would have opened a whole can of worms and put the spotlight on a topic my whole family was dancing around. My grandmother even volunteered to get rebaptized with my siblings, although none of my family spoke to me about why this was. They seemed to think I, who had resisted peer pressure my entire life, would succumb to it then. It was just this unspeakable topic, like if they forced the issue, and I said outright I didn't believe, they'd have to do terrible things to me that would make them feel bad to do, so they avoided discussing the issue outright. The most direct anyone dared to get was after my brother, sister, and grandmother were publicly baptized, when my father very passively yet threateningly asked if I weren't now inspired by them. I was not. My father's one follow-up was, "You know the Bible doesn't *technically* say that you have to get baptized to get into heaven." But it was his passive-aggressive way of telling his teenage son that he was potentially hellbound for not getting dunked on stage. Although he seemed to expect that concept to frighten me, it couldn't have, since he'd always taught us that you get into heaven based on beliefs and not actions. I still don't know what changed his mind and got him so interested in baptism at that point. There was no way to ask without opening a subject that would end with him throwing me out on the street, which he spent something like a decade hinting and implying that he was eager to do. Have you experienced similar? Something much different? I'm interested in hearing who else was pressured to get baptized or otherwise pledge themselves to a religion or deity, what the pressure was in your case, and how you responded.